So hello everyone, thank you for having me. I'm Dean, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Imagene. Unfortunately, like many of us, I also had a first-hand experience related to cancer when my mother dealt with the disease. In my experience, despite the physician's effort, they don't always have enough information at the right time to make the optimal decision. This is why we established Imagene. We wanted to assist the physicians in better navigating those junctions to increase the success rates and accelerate clinical trials so we can see more and better drugs in the market. A few years ago, some pathologist told me that when he looked at the biopsy images, he can identify some stuff that you and I cannot see. Cancer mutations, for example. It basically suggested to us, since AI goes very well with intuition, that we might be able to reveal much more complex patterns that we know about from the biopsy images with just more compute power. Similar, if you want, to what happened with the James Webb Telescope, where we managed to identify new galaxies thanks to infrared technologies. And that's what we're trying to do at Imagene. We aggregated more than 1 million biopsy samples that are coming from 100 source sites, 40 organs and tissue types. And in collaboration with Oracle, we created a domain-specific foundation model. More or less what OpenAI did to language, we are doing to biopsy images. We named it as Oncology Intelligence, OI. With that OI, we can then develop many different types of downstream applications, AI applications. So for example, we can directly from the biopsy image identify whether a patient will respond or not to a specific therapy. We can predict resistancy, recurrence of the disease, and many other unmet needs related to cancer. We created with that technology a backbone that basically allows us to do more with less, overcoming barriers like generalization, regulation, and limited amount of data sets, which is almost always the issue with clinical trials on the pharma side. We created OI Suite, a software platform that supports our pharma partners to generate unlimited amount of biomarker hypotheses, basically being able to be in a place where if today it takes them more than a few months, sometimes even years, to check an hypothesis, we want to be in a place where they can do that in less than a few hours. On the diagnostic side, we created LungOI, a lung biomarker panel that identifies all of those actionable biomarkers that are correlated to a treatment. Overcoming challenges of the current way we diagnose patients, which, by the way, by Diaceutics, there is a study that they made that shows that more than 60% of lung cancer patients in the US, which is the deadliest cancer, which is the deadliest cancer, do not receive the optimal treatment. I find this is a crazy number. And that's why we created LungOI. We received in 2024 a reimbursement code and payment rate for that AI alone assay for Medicare and Medicaid. And I'm happy to share with you that there are already patients that benefited from that technology. By the way, one of those patients are coming from Ichilov, Professor Sprecher that just been on stage. They published a case report showing 40 years old, lung cancer patient, stage 4, mets in her brain due to her critical situation and insufficient amount of tissue. They decided to send her for radiation. This is where they used the AI for the first time. The AI identified a mutation that has a super effective targeted therapy, which, by the way, much less side effects. Following the confirmation, 2 days after the biopsy got into the lab, that patient received that targeted therapy. And weeks after, we saw in her MRI scans how the cancer regressed. As far as we know, she's still alive. And that exciting story is only one example of how we can do better, and we will do better. Thank you so much.